You are standing on a black volcanic beach at the bottom of the world. It is August 30th, 1916. Your right foot has no toes. Your left has 3. You have not seen a mirror in 22 months. You weigh 41 kilograms. You hear a steam whistle. You look up. A small dark ship is pushing through the brash ice toward the beach. It is the Yelcho, a Chilean steamer. On its deck stands a man in a heavy coat. He raises one arm. His name is Ernest Shackleton. It is the 4th attempt at rescue. The other 3 failed. You have been waiting on this beach for 4 months and 15 days. 634 days since you left Plymouth. You begin to laugh, and you cannot stop. 2.5 years earlier, in early 1914, you read an advertisement in a London newspaper. The wording, attributed to Shackleton, was this: men wanted for hazardous journey. Small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return, doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success. 5,000 men applied. Shackleton chose 27. You were one. You were 22 years old. When you signed your contract in Burlington House, you signed it knowing that Europe had just declared war. Winston Churchill, First Lord of the Admiralty, returned Shackleton's telegram with a single word: proceed. Your government sent you south because the alternative was the Western Front. You did not yet know which would be worse. The Endurance sails from Plymouth on the 8th of August, 1914. She is a Norwegian-built barkentine, 3-masted, 144 feet long. She smells of fresh pine and tar. She was built to break ice. Frank Hurley, the expedition photographer, takes the first plate of you on her deck. You are leaning on the rail. Your hair is dark. You are smiling. You will see that photograph again. 62 years later. Your grandson will hand it to you in an envelope from the British Museum. In Buenos Aires, you write the last letter you will write for 2 years. In South Georgia, at the whaling station at Grytviken, Norwegian whalers warn Shackleton that the ice this year is the worst in living memory. He thanks them. He sails. You are with him. On the 19th of January, 1915, at 76 degrees south, the Endurance stops moving. The pack ice closes around her. For the first 4 weeks, you and the rest of the crew are calm. The ship has been built for this. Frank Wilde plays the accordion at night. Mrs. Chippy, the carpenter Harry McNish's tabby cat, hunts ship rats. You start sleeping in a bunk and wake up sweating from the smell of 70 bodies. You feed a sled dog who has decided you are his person. He is a brown shepherd mix from Hudson Bay. The men in your watch have been calling him Soldier because he stands at attention when bowls are filled. You start calling him that too. By March, the sun goes down for the last time. The Antarctic winter is dark, 23 hours a day. The ice grinds against the hull in 3-second pulses. You count them. After 107,000 pulses in October, you stop counting. On the 27th of October, 1915, at 5 in the afternoon, Shackleton walks out onto the floe with the crew. The Endurance is leaning at 30 degrees. The beams in her hold have splintered. She has been groaning for 9 months. Shackleton says, "She's going, boys." You climb down to the ice with 3 things: a small leather diary, a photograph of your mother, and Soldier. Soldier does not understand why you are leaving the ship. He stays at your knee. He is 6 years old. For the next 25 days, the Endurance does not finish dying. She rises and falls on the ice. On the 21st of November, in late afternoon, her stern lifts 40 feet into the air, and she slides down. Frank Hurley jumps onto the ice with a hatchet and breaks open the photographic darkroom on the slanting deck. He hauls out 400 glass plates. He lays them on the ice. Shackleton tells him 150. The rest he must smash with his boot. Hurley smashes them. They are too heavy to carry across the pack. You watch this happen. You think, those are the last photographs of the ship. You are wrong about which photographs are the last. For 5 months you live on the drifting ice. You eat penguin meat, seal blubber, and increasingly, your dogs. Shackleton orders the first cull in late January. McNish's cat, Mrs. Chippy, is shot the same day. McNish never speaks to Shackleton again outside of necessity, which will matter when the medals are handed out. In April, the rest of the dogs are shot. The decision is Shackleton's. The execution is Frank Wild's. Wild brings a rifle to each tent. You go with Wild to find Soldier. You hold his head, and you tell him he is a good boy. You hold his head while Wild does it. 2 of the men in your tent are sick. Their teeth have started to loosen. You do not yet know it is scurvy. You think it is the cold. On the 9th of April, 1916, the floe under the camp cracks open 6 feet from your sleeping bag. Shackleton orders the boats launched. There are 3, the James Caird, the Stancomb Wills, and the Dudley Docker. You are assigned to the Dudley Docker. There is no decision to make about which boat. You climb in. The Drake Passage is the worst water on Earth. The waves are 40 feet. You row. You vomit over the side. You row. You sleep 2 hours in the bottom of the boat, ankle deep in freezing water. You row. On the morning of the 15th of April, after 7 days at sea, the Dudley Docker lands at Point Wild on Elephant Island. You have not stood on land for 497 days. You cannot stand. You crawl. The man next to you, Perce Blackborough, the stowaway from Buenos Aires, has black toes. He is 20 years old. On the 24th of April, Shackleton chooses 5 men. Frank Worsley, the captain, who can navigate by sextant in a storm. Tom Crean, who has been to Antarctica before. McNish, the carpenter, who can build. John Vincent and Timothy McCarthy, who are physically the strongest. They load the James Caird with 500 pounds of stones for ballast. They will sail 800 miles across the Drake Passage in a 22.5-foot whaleboat. The James Caird is the size of the boats parked in front of seaside hotels. You are not chosen. Watching them go is the worst decision you ever did not have to make. 22 men stay on Elephant Island under 2 upended boats lashed to rocks. You sleep in a space 18 feet by 9. You stack like spoons. You wait. On day 87, you wake up before dawn and decide you cannot do this anymore. The plan is to walk down to the Cape and walk into the sea. You stand. You look at Reginald James, who has appendicitis, and Macklin, who is operating on him with a penknife under a blanket. You sit back down. You do not tell anybody what you almost did. You think about Soldier. You begin standing the dawn watch every morning. Nobody asks you to. You just begin. While you wait, this is what is happening on the other side of an 800-mile stretch of the most hostile ocean on Earth. Shackleton, Worsley, Crean, McNish, Vincent and McCarthy reach King Haakon Bay on South Georgia on the 10th of May, 1916. It takes them 16 days. Worsley navigates with the sextant 4 times, because the sky is clear that briefly. The whaling station at Stromness is on the other side of the island. There is no map of the interior. Nobody has ever crossed it. Shackleton, Worsley and Crean leave the others to recover and set out across the mountains. 32 miles, vertical glaciers, knife-edge ridges. They do not stop because if they stop, they freeze. 36 hours after they begin, they walk into the Stromness whaling station. It is 3 in the afternoon on the 20th of May. The first people they encounter are 2 children playing outside the manager's house. The children run from them. They look like something the ice has not finished with. A foreman opens the door. Shackleton says, "Tell the manager that Sir Ernest Shackleton is here." The foreman stares. Then he begins to weep. You do not know any of this. You are on Elephant Island. You are standing the dawn watch. 3 rescue attempts fail. Southern Sky cannot get through the ice. The Argentine Instituto de Pesca turns back. The British Emma's engine fails. The 4th ship is the Yelcho, captained by Luis Pardo of the Chilean Navy. He has been told it is impossible. He goes anyway. On the 30th of August, at 5 in the evening, you hear the whistle. You are on dawn watch. You see the ship. You begin to count men climbing down the rope ladder. You count to 22. You count yourself. Shackleton on the Yelcho's deck watches each man come aboard. He looks at his Worsley and says only this: "All safe? All well?" Worsley says, "All safe, all well." You go home through Punta Arenas, Montevideo, and finally Liverpool. The war is still on. Tom Crean returns to the Royal Navy. So do most of you. 2 of you, McCarthy and Cheetham, will die in the war within 18 months. Macnish, the carpenter who built the James Caird and who has not spoken to Shackleton since the day Mrs. Chippy was shot, does not receive the Polar Medal. Shackleton personally blocks the recommendation. Macnish ends his life as a stevedore in Wellington, New Zealand in 1930 alone. Shackleton goes south again in 1921. On the 5th of January 1922, on board his ship in South Georgia in the small hours, he has a heart attack and dies. He is 47. He is buried in Great Beacon Cemetery. His wife asked that he be laid in the south. You go back to England. You marry. You have 3 sons. You do not talk about Antarctica. Soldier sleeps in your bones. 62 years later, in 1978, your grandson visits the British Museum and pulls open a drawer in the Frank Hurley archive. He finds you. You are leaning on the rail of the Endurance. Your hair is dark. You are smiling. He brings you the photograph in an envelope. 204 men set out on polar expeditions in the decade before yours. 143 of them died. 28 of you set out with Shackleton. All 28 of you came home. Soldier did not come home. That is the part that does not heal.